readers. It's time for another interactive read aloud, and this time you have to put on your genre hat of nonfiction. So our target today is to be able to name some of the nonfiction text features, and at the end I'll list them all, and then you can decide which one do you think is your favorite. If you're like, I don't have a favorite one, just pick one and explain why it's helpful for you to understand nonfiction. Enjoy the book.
Penguins, Flightless Birds of the Sea by Michele Dufresne. All right, before we start, let's just look at these nonfiction text features since that's our focus today. So we have a table of contents. Fiction books have chapters, which are sometimes put in be labeled a content or a table of contents. But one of the things that's unique about nonfiction is you can jump around. So if you're like, oh, I want to go to How Do Penguins Move on Land? You jump to page 8. And then you're like, oh, I want to do penguin chicks. You go to page 14. Nonfiction allows you to jump around. You don't have to read a book from beginning to end. All right, here we have the subheading, or sometimes called the subtitle, exactly the same thing. This one is called Birds That Cannot Fly, and it tells you everything within there until you hit the next subtitle is going to talk about birds that cannot fly. So they're really important to read those. You don't just skip over those because they get your brain ready to understand what that section is going to be about. We have some captions. Captions are little pieces of writing that go along with a picture and support the picture. Another nonfiction text feature is a map. This one tells us where Antarctica is as we're reading under the section called Where Do Penguins Live? So maps are a nonfiction text feature. Another nonfiction text feature is sometimes they have additional information like this. In this book, the structure is set up. All the additional information is called More to Explore, and it just gives you added information. Bold words. Bold words are usually new vocabulary words that are unique to the topic of the nonfiction piece. And a lot of times those bold words can be found in the back. And this one also has the nonfiction text feature of a glossary. So a glossary is a dictionary that gives you words and definitions, but they're unique to just this book. Whereas a dictionary gives you all words and all definitions. And as long as I'm back here, in the back of the book, this one also has an index. And an index is for when you're doing research. You're like, oh, I just want to find out about penguin feathers. So you go to the index, it's set up alphabetical, you go to feathers, and you're like, okay, I can find that information. These numbers stand for the pages on page 3, 7, 15, and 18. That's called the index, and that's another nonfiction text feature. We got captions, I think I hit everything in there that I wanted to hit. The only thing that this book does not offer us is something called a pronunciation guide, and a pronunciation guide is like, there's a better example right here. This one is talking about the kakapo parrot. So when I come to a pronunciation guide, I look at this that's in parentheses, and the stuff in parentheses tells me how do I pronounce this new word here. And the uppercase letters means I put just a little bit of stress on the first syllable. Kakapo, kakapo. So it's not kakapo, it's kakapo, parrot. So that pronunciation guide. I love pronunciation guides. In fact, there is a piece in our book we're going to do today that I wish had a pronunciation guide, but since it doesn't, I'll take my best guess. All right, penguins, flightless birds of the sea. Birds that cannot fly. Penguins are birds. They have wings, but they cannot fly. Instead, penguins use their wings to swim. When a penguin is swimming, it flaps its wings to swim through the water. It looks a lot like it is flying. Caption. Penguins have a thick layer of feathers that keep them warm in cold water. Where do penguins live? Most penguins live in cold places like Antarctica. Antarctica is a very cold and dry place at the bottom of the world. Most of it is covered with ice. The larger penguins live there along with only a few other animals such as seals. And then this nonfiction text feature of a map points to Antarctica. Not all penguins live where it is cold. Some smaller penguins live where it is very warm. Some live near the equator. More to explore. The Galapagos penguin is the only penguin that lives north of the equator in the wild. Counter shading. Penguins are known for their black back and white belly color. This is called counter shading, and it helps keep penguins safe in the water. A predator who is swimming below the penguin does not see the penguin's white belly. The white belly is hard to see in the glimmering water. The penguin's dark black on top makes it hard to see when predators look down from above. More to explore. There are few penguins that are born with brown feathers. Brown penguins will live shorter lives than black penguins. How do penguins move on land? When penguins are on land, they either waddle on their feet or slide on their bellies across the snow. They also jump with both feet together if they want to move more quickly. Penguin food. Penguins do all of their hunting in the water. Most penguins kill krill, fish, squid, and other sea life. They catch prey in their beaks and swallow them whole as they swim. Living together. Penguins like to live in groups. When it is time for penguins to mate, they gather together in large groups on shore. Caption. Most penguins stay with the same mate for life. Penguin chicks. When a penguin finds a mate, they usually stay together for many years. Most penguins lay 2 eggs, and the mother and father penguin share the job of caring for the eggs. One parent will go to the sea and eat, while the other parent stays with the eggs. The 2 parents take turns eating and caring for the eggs. Caption. The emperor penguins keep their eggs on top of their feet. More to explore. Most penguins make a nest of pebbles and loose feathers. When the baby chicks hatch, they are blind. They are covered with a thin, fluffy fur called down. They must stay close to their mother or father to stay warm. When a chick is old enough, the penguin mother and father leave the baby chicks and go off to sea to eat. While the parents are gone, the baby chicks gather together in one big group to stay warm and safe. More to explore. When a mother loses a chick, she sometimes tries to take another mother's chick. Other female penguins nearby will help the mother penguin to protect her chick. A changing environment. The climate where penguins live is getting warmer. The warmer weather is causing it to rain more and snow less. This change is harmful to baby penguins. Adult penguins have waterproof feathers, but penguin chicks do not. The chicks get very wet when it rains. Then, when the temperature drops at night, the chicks become too cold and die. More to explore. The changing climate is also impacting the krill that the penguin eat. As the warm weather melts the ice, there's less food for the krill, and they are dying. This one opens up. Different kinds of penguins. Blue penguins, Humboldt penguins, king penguins, macaroni penguins, Adelie penguins. This one would help me if it had a pronunciation guide. Adelie, that's my best guess. Different kinds of penguins. And finally, the glossary and index. Glossary, down, a layer of feathers. Glimmering, gives off a small shining light. Krill, small crustaceans that make up plankton and are a major food of some whales and penguins. Predator, an animal that lives by killing and eating other animals. Prey, an animal hunted or killed by another animal for food. Waddle, to walk with short steps from side to side.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that book and you're not too mad at me about reading a book about penguins when it's not quite Halloween yet in Wisconsin, but it is Wisconsin, y'all, and you have to get ready for that cold, cold weather. Now, hit that target. Look at that list of nonfiction text features and pick a favorite. And if you don't have a favorite, just pick one that you think is important to helping you understand the information. See you next time, scholars.